Hello there and welcome. A couple of days ago I made a ring resembling the colors of the Ukrainian national flag using yellow pigment powder and pieces of lapis lazuli gemstones. The ring turned out decently, there's a couple of voids, I still need some practice with that technique, but I'll get there eventually. Now I want to make a second ring in a bit of a different, straightforward sort of style, just to see which one I like better. For that, I've already made another stainless steel ring blank in which I'm now cutting a wide groove. Groovy. God, I hate myself. Me and stainless are in this kind of weird love-hate relationship. I really like the simplicity and how sturdy it is, but it is such a pain in the backside to machine. After I'm done cutting, I'm going over the surface with some rough sandpaper to give the glue a better chance of sticking, followed of course by a wipe down with brake cleaner. Now that the blank is fully prepared, I can go ahead and make the first half of the inlay by covering the whole groove with super thin CA adhesive and pouring my yellow pigment powder on top. This is then followed by more adhesive, more powder, and so on and so forth until the whole groove is filled up. A little thing to be noted here. The pigment powder I'm using is normally intended for use in resin or airbrush, so it's probably way too fine for this kind of process. You see how it clumps together and how the glue sometimes doesn't want to penetrate it? Yeah, seems like particle size is yet another thing to keep in mind. When everything is thoroughly filled up and the whole entire workshop is covered in a fine layer of glistening yellow dust, I can give the glue some time to set and then move the ring over to a more precise fixture to get it all back into shape again. Alright, now it's time to cut another groove to make room for the second half of the inlay. This one's going to be filled up with the very fine lapis lazuli pieces I had left over from the first ring. It's not quite dust, it's more like fine blue sand. Again, I'm starting with low viscosity CA adhesive and sprinkle on the lapis until the space is completely filled up. After the glue's all set, I'm changing fixtures again to give it a few passes with a fine chisel to remove all the excess and clean it up. To be honest, I was kinda nervous about basically turning stone with a tungsten carbide tool, but if you go slow and add some water, it's really not that big of a deal. Next up, I'm gonna try something that I've seen other people do, and that's UV resin. So it seems you can set the lathe to a slow spin and put some UV resin on your ring. Then you carefully move it around and add some more until you have a nice and even dome. You then use a UV light to harden the resin just enough so it doesn't flow anymore, and you can take the ring and put it in a curing chamber. In short, turns out it's not that simple, and even after 2 minutes of shining my little UV light at the resin, it was still completely liquid. So what I ended up doing was taping a high-power UV light bulb to a microphone stand and letting the whole contraption sit for about an hour, only to then take the ring, put it on my slow-rotating presentation dish thingy, which is actually just a motor from a microwave, and let the UV light blast it for yet another hour to harden it all the way through. We're almost done now, just a few more finishing touches. I want to go for a more angular design for this one, so I'm just gonna put some chamfers on the outer edges and not completely round them over later like I usually do. Okay, that was the inlaying and shaping process. And I know what you're thinking. Yeah, we know there's lots and lots of sanding and some polishing. Come on, just get on with it. And I hear you, so without further ado, off to the presentation dish thingy. So what's your opinion? Which one looks better? I kinda like them both, but the second one looks a lot more professional despite being more simplistic. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Cheers, goodbye, and Slava Ukraini.